Not what you want to see on a Monday. More rain as we head home tonight, and this is just the first of many waves coming this week. Karen?
All right, Ben, also first at 4, we have dash cam video from a police chase over in Warren. We'll tell you how an officer was injured. Police have arrested this man in connection with an attempted sex assault on a high school track. We've got the very latest information on the charges. Paula.
A walk through history with pictures on the walls of a legal icon. We take you through some of the most important decisions made in our country just based on a museum-like office.
Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News First at 4 starts now.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Karen Drew. Take a look at this. We are tracking the radar for this evening. As you can see, it is a mess. Steady rains coming through, and that's going to slow things down. Let's bring in Ben Bailey with what's going to happen over the next few hours.
Yeah, not a great start, Karen, and it looks like we are going to be wet for much of this week. The good news is the widespread stuff that you see out here right now is not going to last but a couple hours longer. Once we get towards 5, 6 o'clock, that should be gone. And we will be left with at least some scattered showers beyond that this evening. But the next wave isn't going to be far behind. By the way, there's a lakeshore flood advisory in effect for Wayne and Monroe County. So if you live along the shoreline there of the lake, also into the St. Clair River, or the Detroit River, I should say, keep in mind, could be seeing some minor flooding at least until 10 o'clock tonight. So the story this week is going to be waves of rain after the scattered showers leave us tonight. But we have a very nice prize for wading through all this muck this weekend, and we'll look at a pretty nice weekend forecast in just a few minutes. Karen?
Thank you, Ben. The man accused of sending police on a wild pursuit in Warren faced a judge this afternoon. Charles Gordon facing several charges, including fleeing police and assault. Last night, police tried pulling him over at 9 Mile and Van Dyke. He quickly drove off, and dashcam video shows police chasing after him. Now, that chase ends with a crash on 12 Mile and Shaner. Police say Gordon refused to get out of the car and then had to be removed. One of the officers was hurt while trying to get him out. He needed 9 staples to his head, but we are told he will be okay. Warren police say trying to outrun the cops, always a bad decision.
Give it up. It's not worth yourself being seriously injured or killed, or a police officer being seriously injured, or some victim being seriously injured or killed.
Priya Mann is learning more about the suspect's background, and she'll have that part of the story new at 5. The Detroit man accused of killing 2 people at a senior house complex last year is going to trial. James Fleming faces multiple charges, including first-degree murder. Prosecutors say Fleming killed the building's security guard, Kenneth Hall, and also a resident by the name of Bernice Clark before leading police on a manhunt. He was later caught in Virginia. Both attorneys spoke to multiple witnesses today, and the judge determined there was enough evidence to send the case to trial. A man over in Clinton Township is charged with attempting to sexually assault a woman on a high school track. Douglas Pearson II faces criminal sexual conduct charges. Police say he tried to assault a woman who was running on the track at Chippewa Valley High School. She fought with her attacker, and he ran off. A judge set his bail at $50,000. The CEO of Boeing had more damage control to do today as company shareholders met for the first time since the 737 MAX 8 jets were grounded. And they heard some encouraging words from the company's top executive. Kimberly Gill joins us now with more on that troubled company. Kim.
Hi, Karen. Good afternoon. It was exactly 6 months ago today that a Lion Air jetliner crashed in Indonesia, killing 189 people. Last month, 157 people died when an Ethiopian Airlines flight crashed in Africa. The response to those crashes and the grounding of those MAX jets dominated today's board meeting. Company CEO Dennis Muilenburg emphasized Boeing's commitment to safety and quality as he spoke to shareholders in Chicago. Relatives of some people who died in the 737 crashes protested outside in the rain. 737 MAX planes were grounded around the world after those crashes, which evidence suggests were tied to problems with a new system designed to prevent stalling. Muilenburg said changes have been made and testing is ongoing, and he answered critics who said Boeing rushed the planes into service with the anti-stall system on board for competitive reasons.
I think you've seen some media reports that suggest we rushed the 737 MAX to market, which simply is not true. It was a 6-year development program, more than 1,600 test flights of the airplane, 3,700 flight hours of development on the MAX. So it was thorough and it was disciplined.
Right now, there is no timetable for when the Boeing 737 MAX will be approved to return to the skies. Boeing has been hit with a number of lawsuits since then. The latest came today in a wrongful death lawsuit from families of 10 Canadians who died in the Ethiopian's airline crash. We'll continue to monitor any developments. Until then, Karen, we'll send it back to you.
All right, we appreciate it. Thank you, Ken. Well, the FBI today said it got a tip about a social media post just 5 minutes before Saturday's deadly shooting at a synagogue near San Diego. But the shooting took place before agents could take action. A 19-year-old man is in custody, suspected of opening fire in the synagogue, killing one woman, wounding a rabbi and 3 other people. An Army veteran in the congregation jumped up and confronted that gunman.
But I yelled at him very loud. I have a very loud voice when I need to be loud. And I yelled at him, and he looked at me, and I must have scared him because he dropped his weapon, and he turned and he ran away.
Police say the 19-year-old suspect drove off, but then called 911 and said he was involved in that shooting. He surrendered to police without incident. Will he show up or won't he? That's the question surrounding Attorney General William Barr as he threatens to skip a hearing on Capitol Hill. Barr is set to testify for the House Judiciary Committee on Thursday. Among other things, Democrats want to allow committee lawyers to ask him questions. Barr says only congressional members should be asking the questions. Now, you might recall Senate Republicans hired an outside attorney during the Brett Kavanaugh Supreme Court hearings. The House committee says it will subpoena Barr if he doesn't show up. Tributes keep pouring in for Judge Damon Keith, even as we wait to hear information about his final farewell. The civil rights icon died on Sunday, and his life reads like an American history book. Well, today, our Paula Tubman takes us into his private judge's chambers to show us pieces of his story and some things you probably didn't know about him.
You know, just walking through his office is incredible, and seeing the pictures with all of the great figures in history. You know what? At 96 years old, Judge Keith was not retired. He was still on the bench. He was still hearing cases. He was actually at work just last Thursday. The people who know him best and love him say, sure, he moved a little slower, but he was still vital and vibrant, so much so that many of them thought that this was a man who may have actually found a way to cheat death.
Pretty holy space right now, right here with Kennedy. You know, Martin Luther King. And here's one with Rosa Parks and the Mandelas.
But for him, there may have never been a him. But for him, there would have never been a her. His rulings affected every fiber of the threads that make this nation a tapestry of what it is.
And then you have a wall like this.
Chief Judge Denise Page Hood took us on a tour of a life well lived in service of others, captured a frame at a time.
But for Judge Keith being in all the positions he was in, most of us would not have been there. I certainly wouldn't have been a judge.
Judge Damon J. Keith was still hearing cases, and so even at his age, there is still a sense of shock and sadness that his final case was his Judgment Day Sunday morning. A restful slumber that slipped into the meeting with his Lord and the love of his life for 50 years, waiting patiently to be reunited.
Every time he would go anywhere, he would talk about her and how important she was to him and how much he loved her and his daughters.
He leaves behind family, friends, and a grateful nation. The history of so much of what he's done left behind on the walls of his chambers, where he spent the better part of a 52-year career as one of the longest sitting federal judges, participating in the very underpinnings of our democracy.
A picture with Thurgood Marshall right in the front. And that was a way to educate people, not only students, but also adults, about what the 14th Amendment meant to them.
The 14th Amendment, by the way, provides for and ensures due process. His rulings touched every facet of all of our lives: labor, housing, education, privacy, and yes, civil rights and equality.
He had the ability at the time that he was coming along to really bring together people who were in different communities.
You know, a life well lived indeed, but his passing is still a huge surprise. Coming up at 5, we speak to his eldest daughter and also find out that his last words to his staff on Thursday were, "See you Monday." Karen?
Gosh, his office just gives you goosebumps looking at through all of those different photographs. We look forward to your report tonight at 5. Thank you, Paula. Still ahead, first at 4, women's rights groups are protesting today a new guideline in rape investigations, what victims will be required to share with police. And an emergency ban on veils. It's been called a matter of security, but some Muslims think it could backfire. And